information on there about the songs and whatnot, then just use the listen again feature or something. Probably get it online, I imagine. Okay, so we are diving into the pigeonhole. James King, film critic, has joined us again. He has impeccable music taste, as we all know.
Oh, here we go.
Live. Oh, dear. But no, we're going to get the opinions. And first up, it's a tune which I suspect you're sick of, but we'll get your opinions anyway. Here's Duffy, forthcoming single. Or is it currently out? We don't know. Who cares? Mercy. Is it number one? It's number one, says James King. If there's one man who knows about number ones, it's him.
Hit the beat and take it.
The much-hyped sound of 2008, Duffy and Mercy, which James King has reliably informed us is currently number one in the top of the pop charts. So well done to Duffy. But does she please the gang here? Rufus, you have provided much on the show. Has Duffy provided anything for you?
She has. I like that song very much, and I like the fact that she's Welsh and she reminds me of Shirley Bassey. And now I can think of nothing except her in an off-the-shoulder sequin gown, pointing a bony finger at a lucky member of the audience. And hopefully she's heavy pencil for the new Bond theme. That's what I'm thinking. You know, my involvement in the Bond is
You
already...
are, of course, heavily involved with the new Bond.
Heavily involved. So, any excuse to shoehorn it into a conversation, you know me.
Yeah,
but no, I think she's got a great voice, and I'd love it if she did a bit of show-stopping Bond singing. It'd be great.
So you've given very much the thumbs up, as many have, to Duffy, but what about Harry? He's not a man who's easily pleased.
Well, it's a pleasant enough pop song, but I'm sure it's available on every other commercial radio station in the world at the moment, and it just seems a little bit contrived for me. And it's like she's got the whole industry behind it. It's like her and Adele. It's like the entire industry is pushing these two people out at everyone, saying we must like them. So just because of that, regardless of how good the song was, I'm going to say I didn't like it.
Okay, Sammy, was it a Duffy track for you, or was it a good track?
The first couple of times I heard it, I thought it was one of the best things I've ever heard, but it does wear thin after a while, doesn't it? It is. Some things are last and some things you can keep listening to. It doesn't matter how many times they played on Radio 1, you're still going to enjoy it. That is starting to wear thin for me.
Is that not true of most kind of great pop tunes, though, that initially they're ubiquitous and you get tired of them, and then later you'll hear them again, perhaps on Steve Wright in the future, Steve Wright the broadcaster, and you think to yourself, I've not heard this gem for a while.
I mean, if you'd heard Hot Chip, Ready for the Floor, or the first one they had out, Shake a Fist, over and over again, I don't think that's the kind of thing you could get sick of. Whereas this, because it sounds so like an Amy Winehouse song, and we all know which one, you have heard it 100 times before, because it's every other song of that ilk, really. I mean, it's great, and her voice is great, and she's lovely, and I do think she's brilliant. I'm just a bit bored of it now.
James King, you are a man with an eye on the pop charts, and you love pop music. Where does Duffy sit in your
I'm a big
list?
fan of Duffy. I prefer her previous single, which was Rock Ferry, which is amazing. I think Bernard Butler was involved in that one. I think that is better than this one, but I do like a lot of these Amy Winehouse type singers. I know that, you know, it's like when James Blunt came out a couple of years, all of a sudden everybody was like a male singer-songwriter. Because of Amy Winehouse, now everybody seems to be a very sort of soulful 60s female singer, like Adele, Candy Payne, people like that. And I can see that that's a little bit frustrating, a little bit annoying, when we are told, as Harry so rightly said, you have to like these people. We don't like that. But I think Duffy has talent.
Thank you very much indeed. I think I probably agree with you. High five, James.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Oh, they're going to love that on the blogs. Okay, so we have to go to a trial, but after that, new single from R.E.M. Already available to download, but released in the shops March 24th. That is R.E.M. and Supernatural Super Serious. Harry, I have to turn to you obviously first, because you have been an R.E.M. fan for many, many, many years. Where do they sit now in your love?
It's a difficult one. My love of R.E.M. Can be split in Mike Mills, the bass player's image. I loved R.E.M. when he was a complete nerd, and then when they got really big, he started wearing glittery suits and had silly hair, and then I didn't like them so much. And the last few albums, they've not really sounded as if they've been enjoying it at all, whereas that just sounds like Sweet Jane by the Velvet Underground. Like they're actually having fun as a band again, and I really, really enjoyed that.
Their forthcoming album is the 14th of their career. Will it be snapped up by you?
Absolutely, yeah. I didn't buy the 13th, and I think I only borrowed the 12th.
Ooh, please. Copying is killing music.
I didn't copy, I just borrowed it and gave it back.
Okay, good. Sammy, it's interesting because we've got Harry, now an elderly statesman of new music and rock criticism. You very much a young buck. As R.E.M., do they have any place in your life?
Again, I missed the wave. I do like some of the old R.E.M., though my dad has a tape, imagine that. And I've listened to that a few times, and there's nothing more depressing. You have to be in such an upbeat mood to listen to it, so it doesn't really get me. I can listen to the odd song, and that's alright. That was charmingly upbeat. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed its jingly jangliness, and I always think that the lyrics that they come out with are brilliant, and they always mean something, which is nice. But I'm not a huge fan, so I would never say it's the best thing ever. But yeah, it was pleasant.
Rufus, there's a danger, of course, when you've been around as long as REM, that you become just a piece of the furniture, and you stop seeming vital and important.
Yeah.
Where do they sit with you?
Very much a cake stand for me, Steve, rather than a billiard table or something. Like much less useful for me. Yeah. I think it reminded me why I had Murmur on a TDK 90. I think I had Out of Time on CD, and I don't think I bought an REM album since then. And that sounded just like one of those songs it sounded like Orange Crush, or one of those songs that I just didn't get me at all. I found it quite dull.
Oh no!
Yeah, I'm slamming it.
You are slamming it.
The cake stand of a song. Yeah,
that's a cake stand of a song. Well, of course, now every week we're going to be asking what your opinion of a song, and if you can relate it to a piece of.
Which item of Gentleman's Occasional Furniture does that song most resemble? Yeah.
Okay, so cake stand for you. Is it a cake stand or a billiard table, James?
I have no idea what you're talking about. However. It's weird because it was much like classic REM, very much came back to sort of 80s pre the big time REM, which is great because that's when perhaps they arguably sounded freshest, the most exciting. On the flip side of that, you got to say, well, have they really moved on? I mean, it sounds so much like REM. It's like when you listen to a recent Oasis song, you think, well, this just sounds like every other Oasis song, and it's like, is that progress? I don't think it is, but it's very refreshing to hear them excited again.
But if it's not a broke billiard table, then don't fix the billiard table.
That's very true.
Thank you very much indeed. You're a movie buff. I know you probably adore the Police Academy films. Now, what were there? 15 of them? I mean, number 15 still as brilliant as the first. Okay, 17th of March, you can get your hand on a new single from Moby. Here it is, Alice. Forthcoming single from Moby out on the 17th of March, Alice, featuring Ainsley Jones, So Simple and Smokey from the 419 squad. And so that's who's rapping there. Moby, James King.
Well, I mean, it's commercial suicide. I mean, it's not going to get played in many places, and it's certainly not as easily likable, perhaps, as his heyday when he was doing the old samples of the old blues records. But I quite kind of like that fact. I like the fact he's being deliberately obtuse and not playing into anybody's hands.
You don't want Moby to play into anyone's hands?
Absolutely not, no.
Sammy, Moby, do you like him playing into anyone's hands?
Any hand that Moby is in, I'm there and being a voyeur, apparently.
Really? Just spying on Moby?
I'd love to spy on Moby. He's a lovely, gentle soul, isn't he? Kind of like an adult chick. Anyway, I've always enjoyed his music, and like you say, it's a bit different, but there's still that Moby essence there. Now, it did put me on edge a little. I don't know if it was the driving, I don't know if it was the constant speech. It has put me on edge, but in possibly a pleasant way. Good for dancing. I think you'd hear it in the background of a Skins episode, maybe as the bed for the NME Best Dressed Award of the Year.
Well, the NME Awards are coming soon, so we'll be able to find out if that is indeed the case. Rufus, you love a bit of hip-hoppery, but what about Moby?
I do. No, I didn't. That didn't get me going. I agree with Sammy. That's bed music. There's something you need fried chicken in the studio in which you're recording hip hop, I think. And I just know that in Moby's studio, all there was just kind of vegan bakes and kind of pui lentils and things like that.
You have to like Moby, if only because of his episode of MTV Cribs. He pointed out he's the only person who's ever seemed to have any books in his apartment when he was being looked round. Harry, does that make you like him?
There's a good Julie Burchill article in The Guardian this weekend talking about health farms, and she says, if I was the sort of person that liked that, I might have liked it. If I liked inconsequential oral wallpaper, I might have liked that. I don't, and I hated it.
Ooh, big words from the big man. All right, well, thank you very much indeed, everyone. Final little round of applause in the Steve Wright Stars. We thank everyone. I should just let new music lovers know that next week on the show, Get Cape, Wear Cape, Fly will be here playing music live here. Imagine some music played live. Yeah, so look forward to that. Get Cape, Wear Cape, Fly next week. And we'll also hopefully have probably some more questions for Rufus. Also, maybe we can tap into Harry's business brain back next week. 5 Get Overexcited from the House Martins from 1987. Sorry, I intended to be more excited at the beginning of the show there, but I was caught unawares because everyone was chuckling at an amusing email. Keep those coming in. 64046 is the text. Stephen.6music. Yeah, sorry, that was the House Martins from 1986. And we're here. Right, let's just start again. Let's come on again. Hey! How's it going? I can't believe my luck. Here we are. It's the Steve Show, BBC Six Music with me, Steve Merchant, and my gang of cronies. We'll come to them shortly, introduce them. Wanted to make straight away an apology. going straight out to you, the listeners. Not you, the listeners, a specific listener. He may not be a listener. I'll start that sentence again. The show's not going well so far. Bye! Yes, I need to issue an apology to a person who may or may not be a listener. I'm a generous man, as you know, and I'm a giver, not a taker. And I was hurrying along on the tube the other day, down one of the corridors. I was rushing to a meeting or something. Probably very high-powered. I can't remember what it was.
Not a meeting in the tube station.
No. It was like the Top Shop or something. And yes, and there was a guy busking, and he was singing Johnny Cash's "Ring of Fire." I flew down a burning ring of fire. And there was, sometimes on the tube it can get very busy. Everyone's kind of basically driving forward. They're rushing to work or whatever. And so no time to stop. So I saw the guy busking. I thought, yes, I could give him a quid. It seemed nice. It was a nice tune. He was doing it well. But I was in the throng of people. I didn't have time. And so as I passed him, he just started going, "Steve Merchant fell down to a burning ring of fire." I thought, oh no, now I'm in trouble, because what do I do? I'm being moved forward. I'm rushed forward. I can't really go back. I have to fight the kind of crowd and go back to give him money, and so I just had to keep going forward. But that didn't stop him, so he kept on going, and he was so he started with "Steve Merchant fell into a burning ring of fire," and then I need to cleaning this up for you. But he said he didn't give me any the word because it was unclean. But this is of course magnified by the echo of the tube of the kind of tunnel, so it's echoing down there, sort of haunting me as I go on, and I can hear him still singing kind of down there, still singing insulting lyrics about me for not giving him any money. So and I don't know, I mean, again, we've talked last week about advice, what do you do in that situation. As I say, it would have been pretty much impossible for me to fight my way back, give him cash. So I apologise to him. I would have given you. I don't generally give money to buskers. I don't like to support them. But I don't know. What do you do in that situation? Should I fight my way back? I mean, Rufus, we were talking last week about your gentlemanly advice.
We were, Stephen, and my instinct is to say you'd be far better to set up a direct debit upon reaching your place of business
to some kind of charity that helps
homeless people or buskers. Just sit down and go, oh, I feel awful about not chucking a quid in that guy's guitar case.
Yeah.
I tell you what, www.shelter or justgiving.com.
Sure.
There you go. £3 a month, the rest of your life. That'll atone for your sin.
Presuming I don't want to do that. Harry, what would your advice be?
Well, it's funny because yesterday I was out shopping in a well-known South London shopping centre, and there was a busker, but he wasn't very good, and he wasn't really singing a song. He had a guitar which he was kind of just hitting, and he was going da 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 da, just making songs up. But he would engage with people as they walk past. So it'd be da da da, ladies got a purple coat, have a nice weekend. And once he'd engaged someone in that, you can't help but turn and look at him, and then how can you walk away without giving money? It's a very difficult situation.
Very canny.
I think you have to give money.
But how would I have done it? I'd have to fight my way back down the tunnel.
Yeah, do it.
You're saying just do it. You're saying just do something like that.
You look like Mr. Big Shot. It'd be great. It'd be good for your rep.
But then if I've made such an effort to go all the way back, I'm going to need to give quite a generous sum.
No, not really. Just because you just look like a nice guy instantly. Then you can sort of toss a couple of quid in his little bag, hang five for a while, shoot the breeze.
See, I actually think the opposite. I think it makes you look like a bad guy to go back. You don't look like a good guy to go back. The good guy would have given money in the first instance.
You feel that
you look like you've been pressured into it, and that's worse.
No.
I think he'd have just looked back and shot him a look, oh, you guys, and then just walked off.
So you quite pro the idea of just walking on by?
I do give money to buskers if they're good. That seems a decent rule to me.
Yeah.
If he wasn't good in the first instance, you were right not to give him money. It's your personal opinion. You don't have to give everyone money just because you've got money.
No, but the irony was I did think he was quite good.
Oh, then he should
I was
have.
just being stingy.
My opinion's changed if you, Stephen.
Okay. Well, I like your initial view, which was just it's fine to just keep
Take
on
that,
walking.
run with it.
I think that's the one. That's the one that we should stick with. But anyway, I was mentioning there in passing that last week we launched an occasional feature now on the show, which was Rufus, the gentleman. He's an upper class kind of guy, and we can't help but feel that maybe at some point this could be maybe an Esquire or a GQ column.
Well,